Drogheda, Deputy Dáil, 4 minutes.
I'd like to welcome the Minister to the House and also to acknowledge his interest in the issue that I'm raising tonight, that is to increase criminality, the drugs war that is ongoing in Drogheda. And as he knew himself, we had a briefing from the Chief Superintendent and the Superintendent in Drogheda to outline the difficulties and the problems that they are facing, the resources, the commitment, the drive and the energy. And the fact is that they are really doing their very, very best and they need more support. And your visit, Minister, to the actual estate of Moneymore, where some of these very serious criminal activities have occurred, was very much welcomed by the residents, and you met with and discussed locally, and expressed your concern. That was very, very important, because the state is behind fighting crime, and it is supporting absolutely the Gardaí in their task, obviously in Drogheda. But the problem is, I think, Minister, as we are aware, that the overtime bill for County Louth is higher than ever in terms of the Garda needs. And in fact, the Garda in the last year have 5 separate murder cases that they're investigating. And the problem is that all of the resources which they rightly and properly put into those awful, evil crimes comes out of their budget, and there's no additional funding to them. So in terms of the day-to-day administration of the Garda, they haven't got the funding because it's already gone. And the fact that they rightly and properly now have the support, Minister, and they're very much welcome of the regional units and national armed units to do duty where and when they're needed in the town of Drogheda is very much welcome and is hugely important. But again, the budget, they have to pay out of the Louth division, they have to pay for that, and therefore their resources are diminished significantly. The other point is that if you take the town of Drogheda and the town of Dundalk, they're of equal size, and I don't doubt the issues that arise in both cases. But Drogheda has 52 Gardaí less. They had now until 52 permanent Gardaí less than they have in Dundalk, and that is entirely and absolutely unacceptable. They welcome, and I welcome, the significant increase. There are 80 new additional Gardaí on the streets of Drogheda today. It is having that than were there 2 months ago. This is having a hugely positive impact. First of all, in the visibility of the Garda force, the resources that the superintendent has, and the people are very anxious and welcome the Gardaí into their community, and they want to see more and more of them. The difficulty is that shortly after Christmas, of those 18 additional Gardaí, I understand 15 are going to other parts, and that is entirely unacceptable. Now, Minister, I know that you and I can't have a hands-on, it's not for us to decide where the Gardaí go, but it is up to us, and I appreciate you have increased the resources to the Gardaí, and you're making every resource that could be made available at this moment to them. But significant further and more resources are needed. And it is absolutely essential, Minister, and I know you believe that because you saw with your own eyes, there's an absolute need for additional permanent Gardaí to be based in the town of Drogheda to fight this crime, and also to do the regular and important policing role that they cannot necessarily do at the moment because they don't have the resources that they need. But again, as I say, the fact that when you go into Moneymore, a estate where some of these criminal activities have been carried out, there is in that estate a CCTV system which is dysfunctional, is not working. I understand it's the duty of the County Council to deal with that. They are in discussions with the Gardaí, but nothing that I'm aware has happened as I speak to you. That system is not working tonight, where if it were, it could prevent crime and could monitor and give to the people of that estate the security and knowledge that anybody who breaks the law in there, in the way like petrol bombing or whatever, will be apprehended, will be seen.
Minister, 4 minutes.
Thank you. Dascian Corla, I wish to thank Deputy O'Dowd for raising this matter, and indeed I note the presence of Deputy Branhock. At the invitation of Deputy Fergus O'Dowd, I visited Drogheda Garda Station last week. I have to say that I was very impressed with the robust response which has been put in place by the Garda authorities in the Drogheda area. High visibility patrolling, targeted checkpoints have been hugely successful in containing any further major incidents, and have, I believe, provided reassurance to the community in Drogheda. Increased engagement by way of targeted patrolling and personal visits, with families being intimidated in relation to drug deaths, have also been taking place. I have to say, last Ceann that threats on members of An Garda Síochána who work on a 24/7 basis to protect communities and detect crime are indeed reprehensible, have no place in a civilised society. As I have outlined in previous responses on the matter, I'm very much aware of the impact that the type of criminal activity that recently took place in Drogheda can have on a community. This indeed was highlighted during the course of my visit last week. I understand the concerns of the people of Drogheda, other areas of Louth. I can assure Deputy O'Dowd that this type of criminal behaviour will not be tolerated. I was also pleased to have the opportunity of visiting Moneymore Estate in the presence of Deputy O'Dowd, have the opportunity of meeting community leaders there, acknowledging the work that's being done in the Family Resource Centre, and indeed to have the opportunity to listen to community leaders and to the message that they gave both of us in terms of our capacity as public representatives. Deputy O'Dowd asked specifically about the resourcing of An Garda Síochána, and he will be aware I, as Minister, don't have a direct role in the matter. However, I am advised that Garda management keeps the distribution of these resources under continuous review in the context of crime trends and policing priorities. And I know that Drogheda has been the subject matter of a review in recent times. With regard to the allocation of Garda personnel in the Louth Division, Garda's strength is currently at around 340 members, with approximately 110 located in Drogheda. 18 of the most recent Garda recruits were allocated to Louth for the Christmas period. 9 have remained within the division. In addition, 4 newly appointed sergeants were allocated to the Louth Division in October 18, with 3 of these allocated to Drogheda. I also understand that a number of newly promoted inspectors and sergeants will be allocated to the Louth Division in the coming weeks. I'm advised that An Garda Síochána are conducting full investigations into the events that took place in Drogheda recently. As such, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment while investigations are ongoing. However, I have been informed by An Garda Síochána that there have been a number of arrests which cover a range of serious offences, in addition to the significant intelligence received by An Garda Síochána. As I've said in responding to incidents averted by the Deputy, the Garda have put in place a policing operation to prevent and detect and mitigate against any further escalation of violence. And that will continue. I want to take this opportunity, last Ceann, to reiterate to both Deputy O'Dowd and Deputy Brannock and anyone in the Louth area that if anybody has any information in relation to incidents in Drogheda, that they would please contact their local nearest Garda station or through the Garda confidential line at 1800 666 111 as soon as possible. Any information Deputy O'Dowd well knows, however small, could be of great assistance to the matter of the ongoing Garda inquiries in Drogheda.
I would thank the Minister for his reply and acknowledge again the great work the Garda are doing, and his personal interest and involvement and his visit to town was hugely important. Nevertheless, the fact remains that Drogheda does not have an adequate number of Gardaí. And that's the facts. And the fact that of these 18 extra additional Gardaí, who are very, very welcome, as I said, they have transformed Drogheda to give huge confidence to the community. And they're needed not just now, they're needed into the future. And I would say to the Minister that I appreciate when he says that it's a matter for the Garda Commissioner rather than himself. And I know that you provide the budget. The question is, I've written to the Garda Commissioner and I asked him to visit Drogheda, and he did acknowledge the letter. He did visit Drogheda, I believe, I understand, and he's very welcome. But if the Garda Commissioner, and this is not a criticism of, and I want to be very careful in my words, if he's happy to go and visit communities that don't have the crime problem that we have in Drogheda with these thugs and criminals, and if he goes to Longford or wherever it is, to a meeting, I think it's incumbent upon him to meet with the community in Drogheda, and I offer him that opportunity here in the appropriate and proper time in the next few weeks. I know it's coming up to Christmas, to meet with the people, with the Garda, just to assure them that the resources that they need will be provided. I cannot stand here as a Dáil deputy and say anything else, nor can I accept that there will not be an increase, and I appreciate, I'm not blaming you, Minister, that there will not be an increase in the permanent number of Gardaí in Drogheda. When I speak to the Gardaí, when I speak to the Chief Superintendent and the Superintendent, they tell me they have asked for Gardaí permanently, that they have not yet been delivered to them. And I rest on that, and I will raise this matter in the new year if I have to. But I do welcome what the Garda are doing. I welcome your support. I welcome your commitment. But I think the Garda Commissioner and the political system must put the resources into Drogheda that they're entitled to, so that the people who sleep in their beds are worrying at night are not the good, decent people of Moneymore, but are the criminals who cause all the trouble for everybody, and they're a small number.
30 seconds to endorse.
Just want to acknowledge the work of the Minister in visiting, but also the work of Deputy O'Dowd, and I'm here to support, as both of us as elected members for the constituency of Louth, work hand in glove to try and deliver on issues. And I just want to support his motion and to support what he has said, Minister, and that wherever resources are needed to crack down on what is a terrible situation in Drogheda and impacting greatly on communities there, that I want to lend my weight to that support.
I want to assure the House yet again that I am absolutely committed to supporting on Garda Síochána in order to ensure that the organisation is properly and appropriately resourced. The resources available to Garda Síochána have reached new levels with the provision for this year of more than €1.6 billion, including an allocation of 95 million in respect of Garda overtime. And we're also making progress on achieving the government's vision in respect of numbers and new recruits. I want again to acknowledge the interest of Deputy Fergus O'Dowd in this issue. I want to thank him for his invitation to me to visit Drogheda Garda Station last week and to meet with community leaders. I want to recognise the work of the men and women of Garda Síochána who work in Drogheda on a daily and nightly basis. And I want to acknowledge that they face a very serious challenge. And as I've said before, the type of criminal behaviour which is taking place in Drogheda and which took place in November has no place in a civilised society. It will not be tolerated. But Garda Síochána have overcome similar challenges in the past, and while all of us must remain vigilant, I'm satisfied, having met with Chief Superintendent Christy Mangan and Superintendent Andrew Waters, that they will meet this challenge and that they will overcome the challenge in Drogheda. I want to thank Deputy O'Dowd for his interest in this issue and in the town of Drogheda over a long number of years, and I wish to assure him of the support of government in dealing with what is a challenge for the Garda Síochána, a challenge for the communities, a challenge for us as public representatives. I thank Deputy O'Dowd for raising the matter in the Dáil. I thank him for his assurance that he will monitor the situation over Christmas, and I would be happy to revert to this issue in the new year when the Dáil resumes.